Got a lot of things going on here as I'm working on this Waterworld MPU board and driver board. The client sent both of them at my request, along with the ribbon, which is the best way to get these kind of jobs done. But I've had this System 3 bench in air quotes for quite some time, and it consists of a disembodied silver slugger that was in a fire, and a friend of mine gave me the guts of the game so I could make this rig out of it. I also added a DMD controller for Gottlieb along the way, and I've got this LED display so I don't have to power it with the high voltages. And then I put together a couple of test boards. The green one on the left is my System 3 lamp and switch matrix tester. The red one on the right is necessary because I failed to take into account the flipper and credit buttons. It'd be nice to have those as dedicated buttons. And then I've created this, well, you've seen this before on my White Star and SAM tester. This is kind of a generic 32 solenoid test board. So I've wired it up to the Gottlieb System 3 driver board, and the way that Gottlieb utilized these pinouts is quite a thing. I'm going to document it in the pin wiki, but boy oh boy, at first I went 1-to-1 from connector to my tester, and that was a dismal disaster. It worked, but nothing fired in the order that I wanted it to. See, these transistors, or I'm sorry, FETs, are laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So I wanted the layout or the firing of these LEDs to match the firing of the FETs, and Gottlieb did, fortunately, fire their FETs in numerically ascending order. What they didn't do is make the flipper buttons, and I've just got a right flipper button hacked in here. This is a failed attempt to make a Gottlieb speech and sound test board. Now, I did succeed with that later, but this is one of the failure boards. I've got quite a stack of those from JLC PCB back when it was cheap to get PCBs made. So I hacked in a credit button and a right flipper button. Now, Gottlieb, like I said before, they used 81, 82, and 83 as the left and right flipper buttons, two of those three. The credit button seems to always be button 4. Now, I could simulate that by pressing 82 on my tester. It's just harder to do than having a dedicated button, as I've created here for the test button, the slam switch, and the tilt switch. And Gottlieb also reordered these buttons for various games. So this street level game or not, push button switch lets me connect these buttons so that they work for the correct kind of game. So let's power up. You're listening to the Professor of Rock in the background. He's a YouTube channel that I like to watch. So you see we've got the lamp matrix operative. Now, why did I use discrete LEDs for that lamp matrix? Is because the lamp matrix is 10, 11, 12 by 8. And when I made my White Star matrix, which is 10 by 8, I could use two 5 by 8 blocks butted up against each other. But there is no combination of blocks that, at least I was able to find, that I could make a neat 12 by 8 matrix. So I would have had a 10 by 8 plus 2 rows of discrete LEDs. So I said, the heck with it, I'll just put them all in there. Now, in hindsight, soldering these 96 LEDs in was no fun at all. So let's get into test. I'm sorry about the glare. I'm going to press the test button. I'll wait for this message to go past. Now we get into self-test, memory test. By the way, the LED on the MPU is blinking, as well as the LED on the DMD controller. That is normal operation. This is quite striking in real life. You can see some of these LEDs are sort of a different shade. That is a byproduct of using LEDs from different manufacturing lots, and sometimes even within manufacturing lots, they're all slightly different. Lamp matrix test, so I can use the flipper right button and walk through all the lamps in the lamp matrix. I'm not going to do that because it takes quite some time, and you can see that they're all working already anyway. The next test is relay and solenoid test, so that's where this board comes in handy. Unfortunately, Gottlieb also did not implement any sort of auto advance on this test, so I've got to hit the credit button to fire a coil. Now, I guess it would help if I put some power on this board so that the LED is going to light up. So this is my power LED. This is kind of a mistake also because it requires ground to go to this board when normally there's no reason for ground to go to this board. And this LED is lit. That is a special solenoid that Gottlieb used. So here we go. We're at solenoid 0. And what I'm going to do is press the credit button and then the flipper right button to advance through these. So there's 0. And sometimes my credit button advances 2, like it just did there. Let me get back to 1. At least you can hold the credit button or the flipper right button down and advance rapidly. Here's 1, 2, did it again. I'll just keep going. And the reason this board pair was sent in, I skipped another one. Skipped another one. This button I've got on here may be a little janky. It's hard to press it for a short enough duration that it only advances one position. Seems like I got it going on now though. And now you'll see this 31. Okay, let me advance to 31 again and show you what it does. It will turn off and then back on again. So the original reason for these boards being sent was there's some janky work done to replace a couple of these FETs, and these were 12N, 2L, or 12N, 10L, yeah, FETs originally. And I just replaced them with IRL 540s, which is totally okay. FET 5 was replaced before. Job done on it was good, so I left that one. I did beef up the ground connection, but for the other 3, I removed those FETs completely and then installed new FETs. So this board pair is good to go again. Now, why didn't I use the Waterworld ROMs? It's because I don't have a Waterworld ROM set. And that would include the ROM for the DMD controller. So I switched over to Shack. Everybody loves Shack. And there you go. Thanks for sending it.